And on to some entertainment news now. An Egyptian channel will soon put out its own version of Cleopatra.
The whole year that they gave to other projects, they only gave me 2 months.
2 months.
For decades, archaeologists have combed the sands of Egypt in pursuit of one of history's most elusive resting places, the tomb of Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom. Her legacy, shrouded in mystery, controversy, and layers of political drama, seemed destined to remain buried beneath centuries of shifting dunes and decaying stone. That changed with a seismic announcement. The tomb of Cleopatra had finally been discovered. Hidden beneath layers of bedrock in a previously unexplored shaft near the ancient temple of Taposiris Magna, the site held not only the remains of the queen herself, but also artifacts and inscriptions that cast a long shadow on the established understanding of the pyramids and their original purpose. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. The initial discovery was met with both excitement and unease. The excavation revealed a narrow limestone passageway leading into a crypt sealed with an unusually thick slab of basalt. Within, archaeologists found 2 sarcophagi, one believed to contain Cleopatra and the other likely Mark Antony. But it wasn't the remains that stirred the most intense reaction. Along the walls of the chamber, intricate carvings and symbols hinted at knowledge far older than Cleopatra's reign. These etchings, remarkably preserved, detailed a narrative that connected her dynasty to the builders of the pyramids, an assertion that shattered centuries of historical compartmentalization. Until now, Cleopatra was seen as distant from the time of the pyramid builders, separated by over 2 millennia. Yet the contents of her tomb suggested a continuity of secret knowledge passed down through select priesthoods, guarded with obsessive secrecy. The discovery challenged everything assumed about the origins of Egypt's iconic structures. The pyramids, long understood as tombs for pharaohs and marvels of architectural prowess, now appeared in a new light. Symbols etched in Cleopatra's burial chamber described the pyramids not merely as grand monuments or burial sites, but as instruments, devices constructed with a purpose that defied conventional interpretation. They spoke of awakening the sky stone and harnessing the breath of the divine. The implications were staggering. If these inscriptions were more than poetic metaphor, the pyramids may have functioned in ways lost to history, perhaps connected to energy manipulation, astronomical synchronization, or technologies that modern science still struggles to comprehend. What deepened the enigma was Cleopatra's apparent obsession with preserving this legacy. Among the items buried with her were scrolls encoded with complex mathematical formulas and star charts mapping celestial alignments that aligned precisely with the Great Pyramid of Giza's internal shafts. There were also miniature models of the pyramids, each inscribed with notations suggesting internal mechanisms, systems of moving parts, hydraulic chambers, and channels that bore no resemblance to typical funerary architecture. These models suggested an understanding of physics and engineering far beyond what was believed possible for the ancient world. Cleopatra, far from being a figure of fading imperial elegance, emerged as a preserver of ancient science, possibly the last high priestess of a lineage stretching back to a time before the pyramids even took shape. One of the most perplexing finds was a set of black stone tablets stacked near Cleopatra's sarcophagus. These bore no recognizable language but glowed faintly under ultraviolet light, suggesting a material or coating not native to the Nile Valley. Scientists who examined the tablets noted their resemblance to meteorite iron, but with properties unlike any known terrestrial substance. Advanced spectrometry revealed molecular patterns inconsistent with known elements, leading to speculation about lost techniques in metallurgy or even extraterrestrial origins. Such theories, once relegated to pseudoscience, now demanded a new level of academic rigor. The pyramid's original purpose, long debated in scholarly circles, had to be reconsidered with these new variables in mind. The inscriptions also told a story that veered into the realm of myth that, in the light of these discoveries, no longer felt like fiction. They spoke of a time when the gods walked among men, when the pyramids were tuned to the sky and used in great ceremonies meant to stabilize the Earth's connection to the heavens. Cleopatra's own writings, scratched into a golden tablet resting atop her burial vault, alluded to a great turning and a cycle of forgetting that obscured the true function of the pyramids after the fall of a golden age. She seemed to view herself as the last guardian of this knowledge, entombed with the hope that one day her burial site would reawaken humanity to the truths buried beneath layers of stone and centuries of disbelief. Equally disturbing were references to the Watchers beneath. Bas-reliefs around the tomb's interior depicted humanoid figures with elongated skulls and strange almond-shaped eyes seated within the halls of what appeared to be a subterranean pyramid structure. These figures were surrounded by concentric circles and geometric sigils that repeated in patterns mirrored in the Giza complex. The consistency of these symbols across the tomb's architecture and artifacts suggested that they were more than decorative motifs. They could represent blueprints or energy conduits, perhaps a form of early electromagnetic manipulation or acoustic resonance, engineered to tap into geophysical forces we only partially understand today. The alignment of Cleopatra's tomb itself added yet another layer of mystery. The shaft entrance aligned perfectly with the rising of Sirius, a star long associated with the goddess Isis. This alignment was mirrored in the positioning of certain inner chambers of the Great Pyramid. The consistent orientation towards Sirius, found again in Cleopatra's tomb, pointed to a shared astronomical framework. Scholars had long theorized about the significance of stellar alignments in ancient Egypt, but now there was tangible evidence of deliberate planning across millennia, linking Cleopatra's time directly to that of the pyramid architects. A series of subterranean maps carved into the tomb's western corridor unveiled an even more profound connection. These maps detailed an underground network stretching from the Giza Plateau to the Temple of Taposiris Magna, implying a vast and ancient infrastructure. The precision of these tunnels, should they still exist, would represent one of the greatest engineering feats in human history. Some passages marked with cautionary sigils hinted at areas meant to remain untouched, zones possibly holding volatile energy or entities that Cleopatra feared. Writings described the Gate of Echoes and the chamber where time folds, phrasing which, while cryptic, suggested a level of spatial understanding well beyond the known capabilities of ancient civilizations. The psychological impact of the find was immediate. For generations, Cleopatra was seen primarily as a cunning political figure, a seductive diplomat, or a tragic romantic. The new evidence reframed her as a high initiate in ancient sciences, working desperately to preserve wisdom rapidly vanishing in the tides of Roman conquest. It also reframed the pyramids not as static tombs, but as part of a living system, an interconnected grid of power and knowledge. This reevaluation pushed historians to consider that Egypt's golden age was not just cultural, but scientific, perhaps even interstellar in vision. No less compelling was the discovery of several mummified animals, including a serpent with golden eyes and feathers fused to its spine. The DNA of this creature bore no match to any known species, modern or ancient. It was found in a sealed niche beneath Cleopatra's body, curled around a bundle of copper wires and stones emitting faint electromagnetic pulses. What was its purpose? Was it ritual, symbolic, or something more? The presence of technology-like artifacts interwoven with sacred relics blurred the boundary between science and spirituality. Cleopatra's tomb became a threshold, inviting questions no one had been prepared to ask. Ancient scripts recovered from the tomb also described catastrophic events, plagues, floods, and great solar storms, connected to periods of misalignment within the pyramid network. These calamities were said to result from the deactivation or misuse of the pyramid's true function. Cleopatra referred to herself as the last calibrator, implying a role not just of rule, but of technical stewardship. If accurate, this would mean the fall of her dynasty marked more than the end of an era. It signified the collapse of a system designed to maintain planetary balance. One chamber held a model resembling the Giza Plateau, but beneath it were moving gears and magnetic disks, as if simulating processes that occurred under the Earth's surface. Was Cleopatra safeguarding a replica of an ancient machine? The possibility opened a new chapter in Egyptology. Not only was it necessary to reinterpret the purpose of the pyramids, but scholars now had to entertain the notion that these were elements of a once functional, now dormant energy system that required specific knowledge to operate, knowledge Cleopatra fought to preserve even as the empire crumbled around her. The materials found within her tomb, unknown alloys, magnetic stones, and coded scrolls, hinted at a civilization with an integrated understanding of geology, astronomy, acoustics, and consciousness. The pyramids, seen through this lens, were not symbolic relics, but tools, perhaps even reactors or amplifiers of a kind of natural energy. Cleopatra's interment within this hidden complex signified not just a royal burial, but the sealing of a legacy deliberately hidden from the world, waiting to be uncovered when the time was right. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us? What are your thoughts on Cleopatra's tomb discovery? What secrets do you think it reveals? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.